Hello everyone, I'm Drive Realm. Musk has rarely admitted that the dry layer of the 4680 battery has chosen the wrong path at the beginning. Does this mean that Tesla's battery revolution has failed? Of course not. The real key to the rise and fall of the 4680 is not the powerful Cybertruck, but the eye-catching Cybercab. Behind this is the ingenious layout that hides the old horse and turns scientific problems into engineering victories. Today we are not going to talk about the stock price, but we are going to take you deep into the real bottom line of this battery bet. Don't miss today's exciting content. Okay, let's go. Tesla's stock price was $430.17 on Friday, up $3.59 all day, up 0.84%, and sold 3,600,000 shares. The first part of the hard truth about the 4680 battery, the legendary dry layer technology, Musk rarely said anything about it at the shareholders' meeting. He said, if time were to return, I would probably choose wet layer first. What does that mean? Is the battery revolution that Tesla has been preparing for years going to be cold? Of course not, but it's more complicated than we think, and it's going to be a lot more exciting. Today we are not going to talk about those imaginary stock price predictions. I am going to take you deep into the real situation of Tesla's battery production. We are going to talk about 3 key points today. The first is why Musk regrets. The second is why the future Cybercab is the 4680 life-saving straw. The third is a new patent that has just been released by the Dahn lab that may completely solve the old problem of battery heating, but also brings new trouble. Sit tight, we're going to start right now. The first point is the compromise between the dry layer pit and the Cybertruck. First of all, we have to face the reality that the dry layer is really hard to do. In simple terms, traditional batteries are like apricot jam. You need to add a solvent and then you have to put it in a huge oven and dry it. What Tesla wants to do is just put the powder on top of it to save money, save space, and be more environmentally friendly. It sounds beautiful, right? But when mass production is in full swing, the powder has to be pressed evenly, the speed has to be fast and can't be broken. This difficulty is comparable to embroidering flowers on the highway at full speed. What is the current Cybertruck using? According to the latest disassembly report, the 4680 battery he uses is likely to be mixed blood. In other words, the anode side is dry, but the most difficult cathode side is still the traditional wet coating process, or even the direct purchase of imported cells. This is why the production capacity of Cybertruck is so painful, and the cost is not as obvious as expected. What Laumar said about regret is not about regretting doing the dry layer cathode, but regretting that the steps were too big and easy to pull eggs. He admitted that this was originally a scientific project, but it turned out to be a project for engineering mass production too early. The second point is that Cybercab is the real emperor of 4680. Is the dry layer process of 4680 abolished? No, there is a very interesting logic here. The analysis from the battery master Jordan Gsige says everyone is staring at Cybertruck, but he thinks that Cybercab, which will be mass-produced in the second quarter of next year, is the real place to use the dry 4680 battery. Why do you think Cybertruck is a beast? It has a very high demand for battery discharge and a low tolerance rate. But what is Cybercab? He is a little elf running in the city that doesn't need super long battery life and doesn't need crazy acceleration. It's like letting a kid who just learned how to walk run a 100-meter sprint. He's bound to fall, but if you let him go for a walk in the park, he'll be able to walk very steadily. Cybercab's battery needs are relatively mild, which gives Tesla perfect testing ground. Even if the energy density of the early stage of the dry layer is slightly lower, it is completely sufficient to put it on Cybercab. This trick is called low-demand breakthrough, using low-demand products to perfect high-difficulty processes. This is Laumar's highlight moment. And don't forget that there are teammates LG and Panasonic who have been brought in. LG is working on a high-nickel version of the 4680. Panasonic is also working on a big move at the Kansas factory, preparing to make the outer shell of the battery thinner and put more material in it. This means that even if Tesla's own dry layer production line is slightly delayed, these suppliers can also fill the gap in the production capacity. This is the typical two-legged walking strategy. The third point is Jeff Dahn's patent, the heat shield in the battery world. Let's talk about the hardcore now. Recently, Tesla applied for a patent from Jeff Dahn's laboratory. This thing is very interesting. It solves the biggest problem with electric vehicles in hot areas. One of the biggest problems is high temperature. Now the lithium battery is over 50 to 60 degrees, and it is very easy to heat up, and the electrolyte separates to produce gas, and the life of the battery drops sharply. This is a nightmare for the owners of Arizona, the Middle East, or Taiwan in the summer. Tesla's new patent uses a new type of additive that's called DMOHC, and it's amazing. At 85 degrees, it can still be as stable as Mount Tai, and the capacity retention rate of 3,000 hours is more than 90%. It's like putting on a heat-resistant armor coat for the battery. You might think, well, maybe we don't have to use a heat management system in the future. Maybe we don't have to use a cooling system. Don't get excited too soon. There's no free lunch in the world. This DMOHC has a fatal flaw, which is that it's too viscous. Just imagine that ordinary electrolyte is like water. It flows very fast and the lithium ion will run freely. This new additive is like honey or thick oil. It's okay in the hot weather, but once it's winter or you need a quick charge, the lithium ion won't move inside smoothly. This will cause the internal resistance to increase and the charging to slow down, and even the risk of lithium plating at low temperature. So this patent is not yet an all-powerful medicine, it is more like a powerful specialist tool. Tesla may mix it with other electrolytes or use it on a specific energy storage product. After all, a storage station does not need to charge as frequently as a sports car. Finally, to sum up the dry layer of 4680, although it made Laomar regret not choosing the wet one earlier, it was just a tactical adjustment. In terms of strategy, Tesla is still the ultimate technology that can reduce costs at this moment. Whether it's Cybercab's gentle testing ground or the strong backing of suppliers or Jeff Dahn's experimental breakthroughs, it doesn't seem obvious right now. But the key chemical breakthroughs are all pointing to a critical time point in 2026. In this year, lithium-ion factories, next-level factories, Cybercab production lines, and the optimized 4680 will be put together. If this combination is all worked out, Tesla's cost advantage will make its opponents desperate. And as an investor, what we need to do now is to keep an eye on the 2-character yield rate. As long as the yield rate of the dry layer comes up, the good show is still in the back. So do you think Tesla will be able to master the dry layer next year, or will it continue to rely on suppliers? Please tell me in the comments below. I'll bring you more up-to-date information later. If you like this video, please share it. I hope you can like it and subscribe. This is the biggest encouragement and support for me. In the second part of the news of Tesla's production and operation, Tesla has taken the most meaningful step in India. The world's first full-featured experience center in Gurgaon has been officially opened. It's not a pop-up in a mall with 2 cars, it's a real full store. Let's talk about what this center has shown about Musk's ambitions and what it means to Tesla's global layout. First of all, let's take a look at this location. This center is located in the DLF Cyberpark in Gurgaon. Many of you may not be familiar with the geography of India. Simply put, Gurgaon is one of the Silicon Valley of India. It is located in the headquarters area of countless multinational technology giants near the capital, New Delhi. The target customers chosen here by Musk are very clear, namely those who are rich, know technology, and have survived India's chaotic traffic elite class. The reason this center is so important is because it is the first full-fledged Tesla in India. Tesla used to have showrooms in Mumbai and Delhi, but those were mainly for you to look at the car and chat, and Gurgaon, the new stronghold, gathers sales, delivery, after-sales services, and charging together. In other words, Tesla has completed the last mile of the road from seeing a car to owning a car in India. What's more interesting is that a V4 supercharger was deployed on site, which is worth knowing about India's power infrastructure. Musk moved the latest V4 to the front, which in itself is a strong technical declaration that we are not only selling cars, we also have our own energy solution. According to the plan, Tesla's Indian charging network will include 16 superchargers and 10 destination charging stations. Although this number is very small compared to China and the United States, it is already a rare oasis in the desert of electric cars in India. And the most exciting thing at the opening ceremony is not the owner, but the local officials. The Chief Minister of Haryana State personally came to the scene to cut the ribbon. This gentleman's words are also very interesting. He put it bluntly that this center is not only a symbol of Tesla's entry into Gurgaon, but also a proof that Haryana State has become a global car and science and technology hub. He even said without a hint that he was optimistic that Tesla would eventually set up India's first electric car manufacturing plant in Haryana. This is a little interesting. Everyone knows that Tesla's super factory is a serious sweet burden to the governments of all countries. In order to win Musk's favor, all the states in India have been fighting for years. The minister's words are not prediction, but rather a public courtship. But it's easy to open a shop and it's hard to build a factory. Although the sales channels are open, the localization of the supply chain, the quality of the workers, and the dizzying efficiency of the officials in India are the real demons that Musk is going to face. But there's one more detail that I really care about, and that's what I think Tesla is the smartest about. In the center of Gurgaon, Tesla showed the Optimus humanoid robot. The same display also appears in the strongholds of Delhi and Mumbai. This move is really high level. Tesla is not just selling a tool of mobility for Indian consumers, but a future vision. When the potential owner walks into the store and sees not the cold metal parts but the top-of-the-line AI technology of the humanoid robot, the sense of brand premium is instantly maxed out. Musk is telling Indians to buy Tesla means you're investing in human future technology. Finally, to sum up, the launch of the Gurgaon Full Functional Center indicates that Tesla's strategy in India has officially turned from cautious testing to deep cultivation. Although the current charging network in India is still very weak, although the factory has not yet landed, the seed has already been planted firmly. For us investors, India's huge population and rising middle class may be the next 10 years of Tesla's growth engine. This South Asian battle has just begun. Finally, to put it simply, please keep your wallets safe because Musk is here to harvest faith again. Just now, Tesla's North American official website quietly put up a batch of holiday-limited new products. This time it's not a whistle or shorts, it's directly putting the two most popular keywords of the past 2 months, Optimus Robot and Cybercab, into toys you can't imagine. Look at this $50 Optimus. He's wearing a red knit sweater with a print on it that says Supercharge and Cybertruck. It's not just a model, it's a psychological warfare of Tesla's early brand building. He's trying to tell you that robots are not Terminators, he's a family member who can spend Christmas with you. And the strangest detail is that there's a lump of coal in the package. In Western culture, only naughty kids get coal on Christmas, so how do you interpret Musk's American humor? Next is this $35 Cybercab race car, although the real Cybercab is due for production in 2026. But now you can have a Cybercab that doesn't need a steering wheel or a pedal as long as you spend $35, although its only driving force is that you turn it with your hands. At the same time, there are these two thermo cups on sale, especially this native gold one. It's not just a cup, it's a visual symbol. When you drink water with this golden cup every day, Cybercab's radical design language can be deeply engraved in your brain. It can make the product a cultural symbol before it really goes on the market. This also reflects a trend behind it. Tesla is working hard to promote the image of Robotaxi and Optimus, so this is not a simple merchandise, this is a preheat for brand awareness. Finally, it is said that Musk believes that Tesla will eventually produce millions of Cybercabs every year, but it must be emphasized that all Tesla cars will be able to become Robotaxi. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video and welcome to leave your comments in the comments section. If you want to know more about these areas, please subscribe. I am Drive Realm, follow me to get more timely and accurate information.